Okay, welcome into the another day of your strategic human resource manager program, the skill that no one teach you into academics as well as the institution and the university that we teach into the in this strategic human resource manager program free for you. The real strategic human resource manager skills. How the multinational organization they develop their people, they develop their strategy as an HR leader, and then secondly they improve their internal branding. So that's why they are the brand today. The same you are learning into these 100 days of the strategic human resource operation manager program. So now we are into the day number 57 and covering about the module 6, that is about your employee engagement activities. And these activities are helping you out into the how you can effectively engage, make your employee more accountable as well as how they can better perform into the organization. So you can improve the employee performance, accountability, making them more accountable so that they can perform better into your organization and achieve the organizational objective. So when you are moving ahead with the employee engagement, that is the module 6, and where it is one of the key crucial function of the HR people, where you have to engage the employee into your organization, that always considering that how you can get best of the performance from the individual employee you have been hired. So there are two things you have to be consider. Number one, it is about the your especially where you are making up your employee more accountable, that we have been covered into the last 3 and 4 sessions, where we are now putting it into the based on the accountability you have been defined a clear goal. Now how you have to be make the employee to perform them on these accountability, the role and responsibilities you have been defined. Can the employee now work with those responsibility to assure their performance at par? So that is now because you have to define a guideline what is expected every individual into the organization. So there are the many ways you can define it. However, altogether it is moving ahead to your skill development, then that should be into the time bounded and the cost effective all the time. Either you are a strategic leader, you have been went through the IIM, you have been done the auxiliary programs, whatever you have been done, but this thing no one will teach you because they are the academics. What here we are teaching, or however our expert will also make you more if you go for the premium course. They are well versed with the HR who has worked for the 25 years into the HR for the corporate. So what is happening here now for you? So you have to be considered where all the time into the organization you require this skill. So employee engagement means you are utilizing the potential of every employee and that potential now performing with the organizational goal, how you have to achieve that. So that there you can consider metrics for how you are going to measure your employee performance. But before that, what they have to do, how they have to do, that is your role to defining the system. So that is why HR is also the organization system, a development, culture development function, and it is more than the other system. Which organization they don't have the perfect capable HR to developing the right kind of system as well as the culture into organization, those organization never will be succeed. So now, as we have been done into the previous sessions, that you have to make the employee more accountable. So there are the two things you need to be. Number one, what is their role? So that's why your organization should be or must be organization, the function based. So how good the function will become? You have to be list out the jobs into your organization. Accordingly, you have to be map every individual within your organization. And then secondly, you have to be define, but now how you have to perform, how every individual they can perform into your organization. That is the important function and part for the employee engagement activity. So there are the two things you need to be considered. As the previous session I have been shared with you, there number one, you required the one important thing, that is about the career development. So it means you are especially motivating the people. If they perform better, they will reach to this with the fast pace developing or the fast pace growth into the organization. That is the number one task for the HR people, you have to be defined. So the first thing you need to be consider how you can assure that your employees, they are engaged, they are performing better. So either these you can have the multiple things you can, but first it is important for you how you are defining and how really you are making your employee to become more relevant and more effective for your organization to achieve the goals. So how you are defining it, this is one of the key function for you. As earlier we have been shared that the here you have to define especially for your organization when you are making them accountable. So there you required number one, their role and their responsibilities that you have been defined. Role is either it is about the HR. So you have also in the HR the multiple your HR function. So that function will be come with the multiple functions in the core that are your leading role as an HR. Then it come to your learning and development, it is your talent acquisition, it is your HR planning, it is your safety, it is your administrative, it is your compensation. So accordingly there are the multiple roles into your organization as an HR leader or HR function need to perform. So in that base you have to define where you have the hierarchy now. What are the hierarchy? So hierarchy, it is number one coming with, so it is the functional hierarchy, so which are also known as the band 2. So when you have been defined the band, so band may be number one, it is the operation team. Then second, it is your mid management, or your this may be your staffer, it should be operator staffer, then your management and the senior management. So these are your band specific. How these bands are going to be, that will come from your job mapping. When you are mapping the job as of your organization, whatever, either you have the service based organization and it is about the product based organization. Means what are your niche product and services into organization, accordingly you have to be defined. It is now your role. So how you are going to make your employee so they can perform better, or either you have to be defined. So previously we have been also discussed about this 5-scale rating. 5-scale rating. So that you have been defined 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it means someone, if it is in this level, so it means he need the improvements. If someone has been reached to this level, so he may be achieve the target. If someone has been reached this level, he will meet the expectations. So this is your midpoint. Then 4, exceed the expectation and far from the expectation. So but question is here now, how they reach will here, how they will reach any individual, every individual they will reach here. So now you are defining so clearly what are their goals. So goal you have been given, goal will be come. So how the previously we have been discussed about your format for the goals. So that is goal means objective. Goal is ultimately what you have to achieve, organization objective. So what is your objective? So in the one objective there you should have the key result you want to deliver. Goal, it should be the qualitative. Mean you want to improve the quality into your organization because you are becoming the brand organization. But your key result, that should be in the quantitative. Quantitative means either in percentage or in the numbers. So this has been come here now. Then when you are making them as the performance, so what you have to do now, so whatever the role and responsibility you have been defined, so based on that, what you have to do next, you have to prepare their activity plan. For example, it is surveyed that 80% of the individual into the organization, they need to be pushed to do their task. Only 20% of the people, they have their own goal, they determine their goals and accomplish their goals without any pushing. Otherwise, 80% people, they require to be pushed by. So it is now the role of either you as an manager or your teams. So what you have to do, you have number one, define the activity scheduling. What that activity would be come up, so that you can go with where you have to define the objectives and goals or target to every individual. So that will be for your performance management system, that is known as your target or objective. Then there are your key result area, then your key performing indicator, then your weightage into that, and finally your score and your status and then score. So based on that, this is a format you are creating. But before that, when you are moving ahead with how you have to be make, so there you have to number one, create the goal. So these goals should be how to create this. You have to be created with the fast system. Number one, which should be asked, questioned frequently. You have to be create the discussion that should be actionable, that should be specific, and that should be again time bounding. So when you are creating this the fast goal, so here you have to be create the one pager template. What are their activity, the format. Then second one, here come to the scheduling. So there you have to be chart with the day-to-day activities. So that what will be happen, as in the previous week, the last session we have been discussed about, there you should have the opening meeting and the closing communication about the addressing the day-to-day updates, so that you can completely and considerably achieve all the goals which you have been defined. So that's at the end, you will get your every employee perform there. So then secondly, when you have to be make them before you are creating their goals and objectives, you can go with their potential evaluation. Either that is also maybe done through the talent auditing. How you can do the talenting auditing? So that you can do through the either skill and will matrix. You can use it. So skill and will, that is doing like this. So here you have the skill, or there you have the will. So you can define it similarly as in the low skill, low will, medium skill, medium will, and the high skill, high will. So who they are, what they can perform, what it is. So number one, it is the category here, the people who would be here into the low skill and no will. So it means you have to improve their skill. When you are having into your organization, you have to be make your employee to make them as a great performer. perform. So there you have to focus on their will. Will define your trust. So it should be vice versa for both organization as well as your individuals. So what is here now? Then you have to be define the activities into the two parts when you have to make them assure. One are their activities, the goal oriented. Which come from your clear goals. Second are the administrative. Administrative activity does not mean your admin part. It is about your whatever the goal you have been defined. So there are the activity. Without these activities, you cannot perform. For example, you have to develop you have the one leadership development program. Means you have to develop the 50 number of the leader in a year or financial year. So in that 50 number, your administrative part is number one, assessment. It is the outcome or goal. It is your target. So there is a number one, assessment. Who have the people that potential based on the performance and potential. So there you have to define a criteria who meet the expectation minimum requirement. So based on that you have to be assessed, capturing the data, then have a assessment. So there you require the preparation, then your assessment center, then their presentation. Based on that you can evaluate them. So it is how before that the getting the nomination. Who could be identifier number one. So it is all about how to get your people effectively, more effectively, how to make them perform. So when you have been defined the number one part, that is the clear goal. You have been defined the clear goal. This is your goal. This is finally, these are the different tasks you have to achieve. And accordingly, this will is the expected result. So when you have been defined, then there you should have the second part. It is now the review system. So goal has been defined. Now it is coming with your will and skill here inside. If you have been defined the clear goal, everything you have been done as the leader, but now it will be depend on your individual will and skill. If they are skilled, they can get it the result finally what is expected. Here you have to see the results, how they are progressing, their progress. So in the progress, what you have to do, so you have to be discuss. Number one, communicate. As I mentioned, daily, the activities. So how you have to be monitor it. So that's why you require the scheduling. Scheduling of the activities. So in that they require your daily activities. So in that you have to define. So this is goal has been defined for the every year. So there you have to be monthly review, daily review, monthly review, quarterly review, and half yearly review, and then your final status and feedback sharing. But here you have to be think that if the performer individual not performing, so there what you have to do, it is important for you where you have to be number one, instantly, immediately. You have to divide it in the two parts. If it is not lacking, so there you have to be identify the issue. So what it is a case of will or it is a case of skill. Accordingly, you have to be align them further. If it is not the issue of will, so immediately scold them. Then to determine them in the future at the end, what will be the result. So that's why your individual development plan, career development plan, that works here in the two way. If you need increase if you need promotion. If that the same way, because when you have to make them perform, what ultimately is happening into the organization, majorly the maximum organization, they evaluate the data based on this 3 month of the performance.